What's up, everybody? TNT Boys, back at it with another episode. We're going to be sounding a little different. We got a new mixer board in the deal here, so it's still a little fine-tuning, obviously. Literally spent 20 minutes trying to figure it out. I still think I don't sound good, but that's okay. We're going to roll with it.
I'm telling you guys, man, we've been in here. This is Sam, the TNT Boys. Okay, but before we started recording this, Kale's been over here sweating bullets trying to get this thing started. So just give him a round of applause if you would. Just be very grateful for what he's been through for us, because he was over here stressing.
Yeah, I've been stressing today about this.
Slam that like button.
Slam that like button. It's probably down below. Go ahead and give us a chat too.
So today we have Daniel in the studio. He's a good friend of ours. His nickname is going to be the Milkman.
Hence the shirt.
Daniel, how are you today?
Doing pretty good. I'm that famous milkman that everyone's been talking about. That's what my shirt says in case the podcast.
He's the guy that orders milk with his steak at Texas Roadhouse.
And, today he was graciously nice enough to bring us all milk.
Yep, we got chocolate milk. So, and they brought cookies.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta bring Santa the cookies. Sorry about the carrots, though. I see the reindeer didn't get any
That's right. He still can't see shit.
carrots.
Well, see, I'm Rudolph, though.
That's all right. You can be whatever
Are you
whatever
Dasher?
reindeer you want it. That's
Are you Dasher?
No, he's the elf.
I'm Prancer, bro.
No, I like the elf part better.
Yeah, he's elf because he's short.
So I'm just gonna go ahead and just say it now. Daniel will be joining us as a third person on the podcast. I think, right?
Most certainly, I'd love to be another co-host.
Thank you for that handshake.
Air handshake.
I was going for a high five. He came in and went through the. He went.
He actually
Trying to make it official. He's not willing to be brothers.
Now, Daniel.
All right.
Now, Daniel, tell us what's the whole deal with the milk thing?
Well, outside of the fact that I absolutely love being adopted as the milkman and not the one that goes out for milk and doesn't come back, I'll have that stated right now. Also, urban legend says that I am also not the man sneaking into people's houses, okay? But the reason why...
Whoa, pause. Keep going.
Oh, well, he said pause. But
Santa Claus.
the reason why the milk, right? I started my weightlifting journey about roughly 6 years ago. I got back into the gym, hooked up with my main man, Sam Bam, over here. We did a little class called YX3 and pretty much focused around high intensity interval training. For those who don't know what that is, pretty much it's just short spurts of intense activity, and then you change which activity you're doing, whether it comes down to riding on a stationary bike, or maybe you're doing some battle rope slams, maybe you're doing some Bosu ball or some kind of weighted ball throw.
It's functional training.
Right. Sam can wrap it all up. He's the professional. But met over there, realized like I had a long lost love for the art of lifting weights and just getting back in shape and identifying with the therapeutic value of weightlifting.
Nice. So what's that got to do with milk?
Well,
Plot twist.
technically everything. But I realized that I was never going to be somebody special like, a couple of the guys here, able to pick up some pretty heavy weights I heard from back in the day. But, I said,
Me?
even you. Bodybuilding might be a better go for a guy that's got a little bit of leg condition, if you want to call it there, mobility problem. And I've got cerebral palsy, for those who don't know. Bilateral cerebral palsy means that it involves a set of my limbs. So mine is my legs primarily. And powerlifting, it's an exciting sport. I get a lot out of it. I've competed at 2 of our local YMCA SBD showdown meets.
Yep, we talked about it last week.
Shameless plug. Anyone that wants to just jump in, highly recommend, if you haven't been to a powerlifting meet, just to spectate, go spectate one. If you haven't involved yourself in one and you're a lifter, just take a few months, 3-4 months out of your year, get trained up for your squat, bench, deadlift, put some numbers on the board, feel the electricity, feel the adrenaline. Really enjoyed it. But the reality is,
Hey, thanks for the testimonial, big guy.
of course,
Yes, sir.
Thank God I don't got to do that no more. No, I'm kidding.
always.
Woo!
Don't worry, Kale. We'll get you. We'll get you in there. No matter what we got to do, even if we got to drag you,
You can try.
we will try and succeed. But anyway, long and short of it is, I'm getting a little bit old to be good at powerlifting. Sammy's.
You know you're the second oldest behind Scott.
Oh, man.
How old are you again?
Oh, man. Have to
I
age
know how
drop
old
on
he
the
is.
podcast and everything.
I know how old he is, if he doesn't want to answer.
I'm 36.
What the fuck? I didn't know you're 36. I thought you were at least 30-something.
Right,
36.
So my graduating class of 2007, we're all baby faces. So like we shave up, which is what I did before the podcast, and then we look like we're like 26, which is what happened when I met Sam. He thought I was 23, 24.
I figured he was closer to my age when I first met him.
And then he found out I was an old man, and he's like, I guess I'm still cool with that.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So anyway, Sam inspired me to get involved with powerlifting, but I knew that being a 36-year-old man, unless I was for some odd reason going to potentially risk the rest of my fitness career by jumping on gear, which I don't condone nor encourage people to do, I got into a little podcast called John Doe Bodybuilding. And the precursor, shameless plug on John Doe Bodybuilding, which is actually now closing, unfortunately. He is a geared up bodybuilder, admits to that, and gives you all the information you ever needed to know about that side of bodybuilding. Like I said, again, I'm a little old, not for me. I don't get to make other people's choices. But as far as this podcast goes, I neither condone nor do I condemn the use of any kind of performance enhancement, whether it be supplement or otherwise, from my perspective. Your guys' thoughts?
Hold on. You still didn't get to the milk parts.
I'm getting there. They just want to know about the milk.
For PEDs specifically, to me it's not. I feel like it gets demonized more than it should. I mean, if you're going to use, then be honest about it and be smart about it. Don't abuse it, and make sure you consult a doctor, make sure you get regular blood work done. Make sure you get regular health checkups, and to make sure you use proper PCT, which is post-cycle therapy for those that don't know.
Look at you being all educated.
Dude, I worked in the supplement industry for 2.5 years, and I've been a trainer for over 8 years now.
Yeah, but you need a real job.
Right. I need a real job.
Yeah, get a job like me, man.
We don't have jobs, though, on this podcast.
I know. I'm our newest homeless guy.
A residential
anyway,
homeless guy.
And there's different types of PEDs. If you're injecting stuff, that's totally different than taking like an oral supplement that can help enhance performance. That's stuff that I've actually used before, and I've been honest about that. But I've been responsible and I don't abuse it. I do proper PCT. I'm going to be getting some blood work done soon, just to make sure everything's good. So,
speaking of blood work, I just had my blood work done. I was telling you how I had to get done for my CDL and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to probably pass my CDL physical now. So
good. Congrats, man.
My diabetes went down from, I guess, A1C wise from 7.5 to a 6.
Nice.
And I dropped like 35 pounds.
Yeah, you lost 35 pounds.
Dang, and here I am bringing this guy cookies. Man, I'm the devil.
That's all right. But hey, can we finally get to the part why you're named the Milkman?
Yeah, get to the milk part, man.
Yeah. It's a long, drawn out podcast about why I actually drink milk with steak. But now the next chapter of why I drink milk. So I got into John Doe bodybuilding, right? And really honestly wanted this guy to be my coach because of the fact that he was really down to earth. And
Cookie.
And I really wanted to get to know the guy on a personal level and just get involved in bodybuilding. So I thought, well, what's the best way to start out, right? Like if I had to go get some advice, reach out for a consultation. And then I saw that his consultation fee was like $300 or something. And I was like, okay, that is not going to be feasible for my budget. So I looked around and I'm like, what else? What are my other options? And he had a book called Becoming the Bull, which was his first online book that he produced. And so I thought, hey, all right, I'll check it out. This guy's down to earth. He talks about some real things and he's putting it out there. That's actually why he stopped his podcast, is because he wanted to keep it real. He talked about everything he knew about bodybuilding and he didn't want to just become a podcast about bodybuilding. So he said, you got my knowledge, I'm closing shop. But I read the book and the first recommendation it said was, if you want to start learning how to pretty much control your dieting options, or, as a diet is more of a routine, if you want to limit your options so that you feel like you're in control of your appetite and the things that you put in or leave out of your body, start by cutting out everything for the next 3 months except for milk and water. So I did it.
That's what it is.
And what happened was my wife, she absolutely loves to go out to eat. Like we've been to every restaurant in Norfolk for sure and can give you a good review and testimony on the majority of them. But we go to Perkins, like we used to go like twice a week, right? So I've had everything at Perkins. Like
with them, they took me there for my birthday one year.
3 times over.
We were just there after Mimosa Fest, and he was kind of buzzing a little bit, and I was drunk, and I'm just sitting there sober because I had that blood work, and I'm like, having a blast.
The manager was like,
he looked like he was coked out, dude. Buddy, it's like,
he's a great guy.
He's funny.
It was funny.
He is. He's got the right personality to keep people going, though. I love that guy.
Yeah, that's probably good for that place. And then lady that was serving us, he's like, oh my God, these guys are just idiots.
Yeah, so like he said, I was kind of buzzing a little bit, and he ordered the triple egg Daria, and I was like, I dared him to order that.
And I'm just sitting there with my
Triple egg
face.
dared him.
I'm just sitting there with my face like, oh my God.
Everyone else laughed about it.
Right. Well, I'm pretty sure the highest calorie item on their menu is actually the chicken and biscuits. So I've had that, and the challenge was I had to eat it all in one sitting, and I also timed it. It took me...
There's a challenge?
I mean, it was a personal challenge. I wanted to see how fat I can really be. Not just on the outside, but on the inside.
I wanted to see him eat one of them burgers at Wolf's Den.
Oh.
I have been known to order those with fries as a double.
I've done it as triple more than once.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not kidding you.
I tried the triple, I think. Or was it the double that I tried?
I think you got a double.
I couldn't finish it.
Not to quote Avenged Sevenfold here, but hail to the king.
I'm being honest. And I'm not trying, everyone's be like, you're fat. So, but I am a machine when I eat. So like if we've raced and I beat him a couple times. So,
dude, I can put down a lot of food, but man, I have my limits for sure.
Well, I'm getting older, so I can't eat like I used to. One day, maybe we'll have to do a challenge because I can eat pretty fast. That's actually what I'm known for, is getting a plate of food down pretty quick.
I finally got competition, huh?
Well, if we make it a contest, I'll have to learn how to eat, like 79 hot dogs in 3 minutes or whatever that guy can do. Holy smoke.
I don't know if I'll ever go down that
Joey
route.
Chestnut.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
No, I have no idea, to be fair, but that's some serious eating skills.
Yeah.
And he's not fat either.
I saw his workout regimen. He actually has a very detailed way that he goes and he learns how to eat that much food, and then he does specific exercises to not just work off the amount of calories, but also to process the food correctly.
Yeah.
That's what like Beard meets food. He does that a lot too. So,
but we totally went tangential on the milk thing. You guys finally got an answer to the milk thing, but
5 hours later,
like halfway into the podcast.
Yeah, we did, and You know, I feel like I knew that already. I feel like you told me.
We should talk about the Kansas story since he was there. About how he was at Texas Roadhouse with Kansas.
Not in Kansas.
No. I'm saying his name as Kansas, remember?
Oh, yeah.
We're not with Kansas anymore, Dorothy.
Yeah.
I'll give you that one. I'll give you that.
Nope, he's with the Scarecrow.
Yikes. Yikes.
Make my hair stand on end.
I can't believe that dude still ordered a well done steak and he dined and dashed.
He did. I couldn't believe that was after my first powerlifting competition in Omaha. The first one I did.
He's just like, nah, I don't want to remember it.
He ordered the porterhouse well done, didn't finish it, and then dined and dashed.
You know, looking back at it now, it's like, man, I really wish I told him to get a to-go plate. I would have took that bitch home. I still hate it. Even though I hate well done, I still would have found a way.
Yeah, it would have been a good late night snack.
I would have found a way to make it edible.
Yeah, put it on a sandwich. There you go.
Yeah.
I was so glad that you guys adapted the nickname Milkman, because we could have came up with some really messed up stuff if they actually picked on me for what they should have picked on me for, which was the first time that we went there. Because like I said, I was doing bodybuilding, so I went to a steakhouse, and you know what I got that night at the steakhouse?
What'd you get? I can't remember.
I got salad.
Yeah.
Who orders salad at a freaking steakhouse?
Only as an appetizer.
Now, is that worse than ordering chicken tenders and fries?
Well, yeah, but there's the chicken tender and fry crowd. Like, those people only eat chicken tenders. Shout out to my brother.
Honestly,
he eats more than chicken tenders now.
Sometimes steakhouses have a good burger.
Yeah. It's hit or miss. I've never had a burger at Texas Roadhouse.
I think I did once years ago.
But you know that one meal we got there at one time?
The roadkill.
Yeah, that was really good.
That stuff's good. That's just steak, ground up steak.
That's how you know these guys are ride or die, because they make this vague, ambiguous statement. Like, you remember that one time at that one place with those one people, and he's like, "Yeah, and we had that exact meal," and then the other guy's like, "Yeah."
Oh, dude, we can.
We do that all the time.
Oh, I know. You know, look at him. He went from being big fan to one of us.
What you got in the blender bottle there? Is that some squinch?
This is actually Squinch 2.0.
So what's your take on the squinch? You always bring it up.
Yeah, I always wanted to know, because see, I didn't grow up in Norfolk, Nebraska. I was actually raised in Elk Point, South Dakota. So they started saying things like, "Get you some squinch," and I'm like,
I think I got to order some squinch now.
"Where's the squinch, coach? Where's the squinch?" "Son, you ain't even been on the field. You need to sit down and grab that clipboard."
I need
going. Let him cook. Let him cook.
I need
Keep going.
I really need to get him some squinch now.
I think we do.
I'm just sitting there with the clipboard. "Yes, coach. Yes, coach. X's and O's. X's and O's."
Damn it! I can just see him doing.
Keep your paws off the squinch unless you playing on the field.
The only job you've got is to pour the squinch, not to drink it.
Yeah. Fill up the bottles with some squinch.
Yes, coach.
And then get back to that clipboard. You hear, Bobby?
And then you're down, like, you guys are like down 45-0.
Okay, Bobby, you can go in now, but you still can't have no squinch.
Then you run, you're like, yeah.
Actually, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the football movie The Little Giants.
Yeah.
I've watched some.
Long time ago.
I'm the kid that literally sees his dad at the end of the field, because that's a whole nother story for another time. But I'm running for that goalpost. I'm like, "Daddy!" And then right into the goalpost. Mike didn't do that thing.
That works.
Daniel, I remember at the Y seeing you in some mornings, like for your cardio, I'd be walking with my client around the track, and I would just see him down in the field house. He'd throw a football, and then he'd run as fast as he can and chase it. And then he'd go pick it up and throw it somewhere else. He'd sprint as fast as he can. And that was your like cardio that you were doing at the time.
Yeah, I really like to involve my strength in actual sport, because being that I had cerebral palsy, I could never play like a team sport, because mostly I was just the tackle dummy. And I know you guys would laugh, but reality speaking, people want to know what it's like to tackle a dude with folded legs because, like, does he just fold easier? Yes, 'cause people with cerebral palsy fold easier.
Hey, speaking of that, remember when I first met Standby, and I asked him at Big Red when he doesn't have his thing.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah,
I asked him. I was like, so, and I wasn't really thinking about it. I was like, so, what do you do? Like, cause I don't remember you talking about how.
What do you do when you don't like?
What if you don't have one? What if it breaks? What do you do? Just lay there?
Brother, you gotta crawl.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I might be a dick, but like I wasn't trying to be a dick.
I've seen him crawl for his cane before.
I have too, and it's like.
But you know what's crazy is like last summer, there's a few times me and him went out to like 6th Street track to play football catch. He threw his cane to the ground, and he was walking around without his cane, holding a football. I was like I thought he was gonna have his cane and throw the football with his arm in the cane. I saw him throw his cane to the ground and actually walk around a little bit without his cane, and I was like taken aback for a second.
Nani?
Now and then he fell down a few times, and he was like, "I'm done."
Or dude, did you ever tell him the time when we came here and he got on my truck? And whoop, he literally fell right out. I'm like, oh my God, you okay? And so I had lived right next to the fair over here. So when the fair goes on, everyone's like parking up here and everything and walking. And there was a bunch of people walking by when it happened. I felt so bad.
Yeah, we never really know what to do. And I'm generalizing for people with cerebral palsy, but yeah, falling down is like a common thing. I fall down like at least once a week. People don't really know that, but it becomes an art. You learn how to master how to fall down. And like, I wish that I could replay some of these things because they're just hilarious parts.
Wait, what?
Falling down. You tried to say something, but what people don't know is our mics are synced to like the same volume. So if I talk and you talk, I block you.
I just said Gesundheit.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that too. I'm gonna dial it in a little bit.
No, it's all good. I'm just trying to learn how to communicate effectively. But there are some really funny points in my life where like falling down became almost like a sport. So my favorite one is at Casey's. So I was working with my kitchen worker at the time, and we were having this war with rubber bands and paper clips. By the way, I don't know if you guys have ever done that, but if you string a paper clip back on a rubber band, and kids don't do this at home, and then you release it, you can actually slap those paper clips against those windows, those plexiglass windows in the back of the cafeteria section of the Casey's. And she kept shooting me, and I was like telling her, I was like, stop. And so I went in there with like paper clips dangling from rubber band that I had sitting there, and I just whop, 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 whop. Well, a couple days later, we were just messing around, and I ended up like pushing her, and I knew she was going to try to push me. So I like crouched down and started backing up. Well, I was stupid enough to stand up, and as soon as I stood up, she pushed me. But the Mountain Dew display was directly behind me. So when I turned to fall, I saw the Mountain Dew display, and I literally did like an aeroplane. Spun around, and like I clipped the edge of the Mountain Dew display, and the Mountain Dew display just collapsed and pelted me with Mountain Dew.
You felt the dew.
He did the do that day.
I had to do the do.
Do the do.
Daniel did the do that day. Daniel did.
My other favorite one was now at the new place I work, which I'm a secretary at Associated Wholesale Grocers. So now we're not TNT. Now we're TNTs. Okay. But no, I'm just kidding. Don't rebrand. Cut that out. Where's our edit? Where's our edit guy? Cut that out. But what happened was I was going to go over to the unloading office, which is connected to our office, and I turned wrong, and the shoes that I wear are really comfortable, but they have really good traction on the side. Excuse me. And I went to turn to my left, and my shoe stuck, and I just knew there was no way to avoid falling, but I did everything in my power not to fall. So I literally like went to grab for the desk, missed the desk, but I pushed off of the desk, rotated myself so that I was aligned with the other desk, went to grab that desk and pushed that way, continued spinning, went to grab the island where all of our paperwork is, and there was a box, like a little tiny box filled with paper clips. And as I went to grab that counter, I smacked that paperclip box, and it shot paper clips into the air like paperclip confetti. Just rained paper clips everywhere. And then I made like some unruly noise as I'm falling. I'm like, eh. And then
Wow.
fell to the ground. And the capstone girl that worked next door, I kid you not, she goes, Daniel, no. And she like jiggles her way over to our office.
It's hilarious because like you have such a detailed description of how it happened, but it had to happen like that.
Yeah, it happened within
It happened
seconds.
fast, but Daniel explains it like it happened in slow motion.
I like it when he tells stories. It's funny.
The reaction feels like, I like when people with CP fall down.
No, it go home.
I like it when he tells the story if he fell down. Do you fall down again another time?
Fall down, go boom.
You fall down when you train, you get...
Oh, he knows our language?
You know language?
You know language? You speak language like us? Bag English?
Speak English like us, but no fall down no more.
Yes. Indeed. Yes. Okay?
Not understand, only lift heavy weight.
You know, he getting it. He don't know what he getting it. He get yourself some squinch, all right?
Yeah, but to wrap it all up, when somebody with any kind of condition falls down and like they know that they're known for like a balance thing, it's super embarrassing because we expect it to happen, but we can't anticipate how other people are going to react. And mostly when it happens, we just feel so mortified that we just want to lay there like we're dead, but it causes people to panic.
I just know whenever I would hang out with Standby and it would happen, I would just always be like, dude, are you okay? Like, are you all right? And like other people around would just be like staring, like pissed off. Like, dude, he just fell down. Like he needs help maybe. Like, but he'd always get back up by himself and be like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, that's it. Nobody really knows like what it is for a person like that to fall. So like, does it hurt more? Can you get injured more easily? Like, what's up with all that? And really, I mean, I would say that because the majority of our lives, a majority of us fell, we're kind of resilient to falling. Like I said, for me, it becomes an art. That's why when I explain falling, it's almost like a dance. I'm like, and then I twirled.
Yeah.
And then there was confetti.
I twirled like a ballerina, like on a beautiful night, and I danced the night away.
And then a woman caught me in her arms.
Oh my God. You know,
and then that box of paper clips caught me in their arms.
You got to think about it. I mean, these guys have fallen so much. You're like you said, like, yeah, I'm good. They don't get up and they're crying or anything. Like, yeah, I'm good, dude.
Yeah, I'm good.
Like fall 374, take 2.
Yeah.
Daniel tries to make it gracefully. Like I said, this is something that had to have happened within like a second or two, and he explains it like it happened in slow motion.
Like, have you ever seen the Goofy movie? Like when he starts stumbling,
like gosh,
that's what it feels like. Gosh.
Oh boy. Sorry, we're getting sidetracked. I'm gonna clip that.
That's gonna be a reel.
Oh boy. Guys, I'm going to be internet famous thanks to TNT Boys.
Hey, Sam, we finally hit our break.
There we go.
The final piece of the puzzle.
Yep.
By the way, we're accepting all sponsors.
Mr. DH.
Anyway, so we wrapped up a couple of interesting things, but Kale and Sam invited me on because a lot of people don't know who I am, or actually they might know who I was, but a lot of people don't know why. Do either of you remember me when I worked at Casey's?
Yeah.
Fuck no.
Yeah, I remember.
Kale says, no.
I remember you from Northeast.
Man, Sam remembers me from way back.
When did you work at Casey's?
So I worked at
Remember when Dylan worked
Casey's.
No.
I worked at Casey's about 2006. 17, I want to say.
Yeah.
Which one?
I worked at the one on 13th.
I think you worked there 17, 18.
Oh, yeah. I might, yeah. I barely went there, but yeah.
So I was the overnight cashier, so that's why a lot of people didn't see me.
Oh.
But I actually was the guy who had the super long hair. And that's how a lot of people in Norfolk know me, because from the time that I moved from Sioux Falls, South Dakota to Wayne, Nebraska, and then I pretty much got kicked to the Norfolk Rescue Mission. But anyway.
When did you live in Sioux Falls?
Oh man, that was a long time ago. That was like 2008, 2009.
Yeah, Maya's from Sioux Falls.
Okay. I'm originally from Elk Point, South Dakota, like I said. So that's between Vermilion and Sioux City. It's pretty much the exact same size as Madison, Nebraska. It's got 2 exits that lead directly to I-29.
Yep.
So shout out to anybody, usually Norfolkians actually either know a person from Elk Point or they have family members in Elk Point.
I know where Elk Point's at.
So I'm not too far from home. But yeah, I was actually brought up in South Dakota and have lived in Norfolk, Nebraska now longer than I have been raised in Elk Point, South Dakota, because I came here in 2010. So now it's been 14 years.
Now you're going to say something about being kicked to the curb because of the rescue.
Well, the reality is it's a really long story, but the long and short of my life story is that I made some poor decisions. I fell in with, I wouldn't call them the wrong crowd, but I would say the crowd I ran with made some questionable decisions. And some of those
crowd, basically.
Right. And some of those decisions, and like I said, a lot of these people, if you were to identify them from the outside, are actually not like outcasts. They're not druggies. You know who they really were? They were like the skateboarders. They were like the punk rock kids. They were like
the grudgy.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like drugs is what we were about, but that might have been how we got identified in the long run, because we were from a small town. And so I got addicted to drugs. For those that don't know, marijuana has THC, tetrahydrocannabidiol, and what it does, the medicinal purpose of it, which is now in the form of CBD, actually deadens the nervous system, similar to what alcohol does to your nervous system. And so what happens is my muscles become less tense. I walk straighter. I have no lower back pain or lower leg pain, which is actually weird, because I never realized that right now I'm dialed up to probably 7 in pain in my lower back, but it's chronic, so I don't ever know that. It just dies down to a dull roar, and that's how I live my life. It's not like painful to be me per se. It's just kind of a coordination issue. But because marijuana helped me with my cerebral palsy, it made me feel normal to use drugs. And so I fell in with a crowd that consistently used drugs. And I realized at a point in my life that drugs were my life. I was literally spending every moment of my day trying to figure out how to get, find, and use more drugs.
Daniel, was it just marijuana?
So really, for an addict, it comes down to what I really wanted was more. I wanted anything to help me to cope with life on life's terms. And I don't want to be representative of any specific method of recovery or drug addiction, but my wife and I are involved in a program called Narcotics Anonymous, similar to Alcoholics Anonymous. Norfolk and Grand Island are both 2 areas in Nebraska that have really strong recovery communities. So anybody that listens to TNT Boys, what I would have to say is, if you're listening right now and you're in a place in your life where you realize like you can't stop using, but you can't keep using, and you want to change that, there's hope. Reach out, get help, continue to find hope. The rooms of Narcotics Anonymous saved my life and the lives of countless others.
This is your guy right here.
And again, I'm Daniel. I'm the Milkman. If you see me, come up, talk to me, tell me where you're at. We can get you help.
The one day Daniel decided to say no to drugs and yes to milk.
Milk was my answer.
Milk was the
milk is what saved me.
Milk, yeah, I was gonna say
You
the
could
milk
use
was-
that. Milk is what saved me. That's why I am the milkman.
Got milk.
Yeah, that was. I ain't gonna lie, that was pretty powerful. You were just saying there.
But like I said, I don't want to take up like the entire podcast talking about
no, dude.
We got time.
the bad things that happened in my life. It was a rough path, but the reality is, and you guys have talked about this before. Using drugs started at one point in my life as a choice. An interesting thing that some people don't know is it doesn't always start as a choice. It is a choice, but a lot of times it's a choice that's made under supervision, or it's a choice that's made because of medical advisement. And opioid addiction right now is out of control in the United States of America, and probably across the world for that matter. And a lot of it, the opioid addicts, the opiate abusers, they start because of some kind of accident or need for pain relief. And then from there, whether it's genetic, whether it's environmental, whether it continues to be a choice that they make because of the chemical pathway that's established through continued use and abuse of drugs, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that at that point, they have a lack of control over their choices. And the only thing that we can see that helps people in those situations is peer support, right? And the majority of people that face drug addiction issues, whether it be abuse, whether it be true full-blown drug addiction, or whether it just be the occasional overdose of whatever kind of mind-altering, mood-changing drug it might be, because there are some out there that are very commonly accepted. Alcohol, caffeine, nicotine, these are all pretty common, but still can be widely abused. And I think it goes without saying that what you find, even outside of the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous, and I'm not here to promote NA, just to say this is not the views of Narcotics Anonymous, my speaking, but just my experience on the issue, that people will tell you that even when they went cold turkey, the reason why they stopped was because of the people that were around them. Sam and Kale, let's say, maybe when they were younger, they liked to party more, they liked to be more in that world, and they tried things, right? But they never really became their world. That wasn't their life, right? They didn't need that to live. And so as they grew out of maybe a phase, other people stayed stuck in that phase because it became their life. But the way a lot of these people rebounded was by surrounding themselves with family, friends, and other sober/clean individuals who encouraged them to make better choices. There was a study done a number of years back on the social habits of rats, and they teach you a lot of this in treatment. I've been to treatment 3 times. I did an outpatient treatment once and 2 inpatient treatments, and they teach you about this study where they allowed a rat to push a button and get a feed of whatever drug it might have been. I think it might have been morphine, but I don't remember which specific drug. And whenever they pushed the button, they got the feed. Well, after they took the button away, the drug would just be in a little container like in their water, so they could just go get water and then they would be high. And they noticed that the rats that were addicted to the whatever it was would continue to do that, but then after they got high, they would socially isolate, which is common. The disease of addiction, if you want to term it that, I'll call it that for the sake of a term, but it seeks to separate the person from anything but addiction itself. And that's how addiction becomes dangerous and deadly, because then you feel like the only way to cope with life is to continue to use. But what they also found out is if they introduced that same rat to a social environment where the other rats weren't using or didn't have the opportunity to use or didn't care to use, guess what happened? Even when the rat was given an opportunity to go and use, it would rather be a part of the rat pack than it would want to continue to stay addicted. And so peer support has been a really strong influence in drug recovery.
Nice.
I was not prepared for the whole speech. I like that. And yeah, you're right. I mean, opioids and even fentanyl. Fentanyl is becoming a big thing, and I've argued with people many of times that fentanyl is not a drug, and that's bullshit. It is a drug, and that's probably one of the scariest things for a cop now to probably search somebody that has drugs and they touch it and they're gonna die more likely unless they get saved enough or in time.
And that kind of, it brings back the last time me and you talked about it outside, that one episode, and it really comes down to, like, it is a choice.
Yeah.
Like, to get started, it is a choice.
Yeah, and you know what? There is addictions. I mean, there is stuff you are born with, not drug wise. Like some people believe that depression is bullshit. Some people believe in you can get depression. Sometimes it's kind of a big dick competition for people when they.
So I'm in that spot where it's like I'm kind of in the middle when it comes to that. Like,
right.
I truly believe depression is real, and people can get clinically diagnosed with it and have depression, but I feel like some people, they use it as a crutch too often.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, they'll use it as an excuse for bad behaviors. Like, they did this, and it's like, oh, it's because of my depression.
Or don't really want to say this, but I'm going to say it. But this kid did this to this school because they were upset. Right.
Because of their depression or anxiety. Like, I've heard of people.
Let me rephrase that. That sounds bad. I'm sorry to cut you off.
I was just saying, there's people that will skip work.
Oh,
like young people our age or younger that will skip work. They might have a good, well-paying job, very rewarding job, and they skip because, oh, my anxiety was really bad that day, or my depression was really bad that day. And it's like, okay, I get it. Like, you have clinical depression, clinical anxiety, but come on, man.
But then that's where you go in the middle part where it's like, okay, I kind of understand the anxiety because,
I get it, but at the same time, it's like.
But if it's a repetitive thing,
in life, you have to take care of you got to take care of your shit. You know, you got to do what you got to do, and sometimes it's just like, I don't know, like I get it, but then at the same time, it's like sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't have clinical depression, so I don't know what those people are going through. Like, I've been depressed before. I've gone through stuff. I've been sad before. You've seen it. But I don't know. At the end of the day, I'm still going to get up every day and do what I got to do to get closer to my goals.
Yeah, and there's days that like, oh yeah, it's another day. It's going to suck, blah, blah, blah. You get up, you still do it.
And you don't complain. I mean, you don't really complain about it. Like, you might have that negative mindset at first, but then it's like, you just get through. Some days you just got to get through it, and you just got to do it.
And that's like what Vance said on their podcast. You just kind of get over it. In a way, yeah, you kind of have to get over it.
You can take, like, mental health is super important, but
going back to the kids thing,
yeah,
I just think kids these days are soft. That sounds so wrong to say, but in that context, but you know what I mean? Like, they're being raised up.
It's such a.
They're being raised as
it's such a tough topic because it's like, not all kids are the same either.
So, like, how we grew up, right? We got raised like, you get up, you rub dirt on it, or whatever.
But see, at the same thing, it's like, is that right?
Right. And I was going to touch on that same thing where it's like, to be honest, I think the reason why the older generations, if we want to call it that, the reason why we always bring it up like, oh, well, the younger generation's softer, man. In my generation, when a guy blew one of his fingers off from a bottle rocket accident on the 4th of July, we called him Stubbs, right?
Yeah.
But when you look at it from a social perspective, what we really did was widely on a large level, we actually accepted social bullying. But the point of the social bullying was never actually to create an intentional negative effect on the person. It was actually to create camaraderie. It's similar to what you see with soldiers or people in a line of service, like
any typical male friend group.
that's why you guys wanted to hear me talk about fun.
No, what I'm saying is like you're talking about like the light bullying of like just literally just like giving each other shit.
Like, are you saying like there's more? You're starting to see there's more action towards bullying than there was back in the day.
I think that back in the day, the way that socially we disciplined one another was by creating almost this environment of expectation and, in a sense, social bullying. And when I say social bullying, I want to clarify so that it's clearer. You would ostracize or pick on a person or put a person in a position where they felt uncomfortable when they were acting in a way that wasn't socially acceptable. Let me give you an example. Like if a person was like acting out in class and not the class clown, there's always been the class clown. We know who you are, Kale. All right. You need to chill. All right. Chill. No, I'm just kidding. Tune up. Let's hear him. But, when a person was like acting out, other people in that class would like come alongside that person and they would kind of talk to that person in a way that was like, come on, man, that's not cool. Like, go along with what we're doing. Be like us, you know? You don't got to be different. You can belong, right? And so in that moment, it's kind of like you're not letting that person be an individual, but you're also calling that person's actions and choices into account. And sometimes it would go a little far, you know? People would actually get into a position where I know in my school, the whole like try to hit each other in the nuts thing was really popular.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah. I'm glad that I never really got targeted in that way, but that was common. That was a common thing. And it wasn't done as a way to get people physically violent, although I did see people get physically violent because of that.
I remember book checking in like middle school.
Oh yeah, book checking was
like you'd sneak up on someone and knock their books out of their hand.
Or remember USD? My freshman year, your senior year?
Yeah.
That was a big bullying thing there.
Yeah, there's a big hazing thing.
Yeah.
Coach was pissed at the end of the trip, and he said you guys weren't going to do that trip anymore.
Yeah,
you did.
Yeah, we still went.
The next year, yeah.
It was crazy. Some kid who was, I think, in my class called their parents or something, and they got a hold of some school administrators that night, and that's when they found out because the coaches at the time, they weren't staying in the dorms with us. And they had a fight club down in the basement of the dorms they were staying in. And I'm going to be honest. I'll tell you what I did. I did one thing I don't regret. I kind of regret doing, but it's funny. But it was like not really a bullying thing. I think I've talked about it before. I think in the earlier days of TNT Boys. Well, what happened is that there was, I guess, just, yeah. Oops.
That's all right.
I got to buy a new one. Anyway, so the seniors would go around because they never really allowed freshmen to go on this trip. You remember that?
Yeah, you guys were the first freshman class to
go.
Yeah.
And they watered down our doors.
Yeah.
They basically, what they did is they place cups or whatever, wait till you open it, and then water.
Yep.
And then there was a fight club. You know more about that than I do.
It wasn't anything that crazy, really.
No, but there was a lot of toxicity.
There was
on that in that freshman year, dude.
My class was toxic.
Very toxic.
Like we had all the talent in the world to be really good, but we had injuries and we were toxic. We didn't all get along like that.
Yeah, and I'm not going to name names.
It was very
this is
cliquey.
one of those situations we're not naming names, obviously.
No, it's fine. Yeah.
And some of them just, I don't know. But anyway, there was one time I actually had to pee really night. It was actually that night. I had to pee so bad, and I couldn't go to the dorm because the USD football player told me to get back in my room. I couldn't walk out. even in the hallway to go to the restroom.
What year was that?
That was my freshman year.
You couldn't go to use the restroom?
No.
A USD football player was in the hall
Yeah.
in the middle of the night?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, go to your dorm.
Yeah, like more monitoring, basically.
Really?
Yeah. And,
What?
yeah.
You couldn't go to the restroom?
No, that's when they were doing the Fight Club.
So he's just like, you can't go to the restroom. You gotta piss in your pants or something. Go in a Gatorade bottle.
And that's what I did. I drank half of an orange Gatorade bottle, and then let's just say we had O'Neal next to us, and they were loud as shit. And let's just say I gave someone some piss Gatorade. And then let's say that somebody found out it was from one of our team, and I come out of my room, all O'Neal players, and I'm like, hey guys. And they just followed me around, everything. I'm like, see you later.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But yeah, to wrap it back around to where we kind of were touching on, we have to see that the further back we go in generations, the more that the discipline was literally a part of how people lived, right? Like my mom always talks about how her dad, it was always the hand, it was always the rod, it was always the belt, right? There was always a physical mandate for discipline. And in that
flip-flop too.
Well, that's the chancla. That's different. That's different.
That hurts differently.
Yeah, that's a different kind of danger. If the chancla comes out, me and Sam, we got to go home now. But what it comes down to is that back then it was a mandate of not only did your parents have accountability to discipline you, your teachers had accountability to discipline you, other people's parents had accountability to discipline you. So it didn't matter where you went. There wasn't this social divide on how discipline was carried out. It was like that person spanked you or hit you with the rod. That person spanked you and hit you with a rod. Then you went home and maybe you didn't even get hit with a rod. Then you just got grounded. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
Physical
what caused
pain.
That's what caused people to be straight. I have to admit, I was disciplined with a belt and other forms of discipline. I had to put my nose in a wall, which, by the way, if you've never done that, can make you physically sick. I actually got sick doing that one time. But the belt is the reason.
Nose on a wall?
Yeah. You literally put your nose directly up to the wall and you have to stand with your nose in the wall until you've thought about what you did.
I've done that. Yeah.
A lot of people do the corner. But I got the belt. I got a hand or whatever. But you know what? I can't think of a time where I didn't deserve it or where I wasn't acting in a way where I truly deserved it. Like maybe I didn't do anything wrong, but I was acting up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I wasn't one of the people that fall under this abuse clause where I do believe that there are kids who were physically abused in these eras. I do believe there were kids that their parents, like we were talking about, struggled with mental health or something in their past, or maybe their parents actually physically abused them. So it hands down, because very commonly we become like what we roll after, which were our parents, unfortunately for a lot of us. But when we act or react, it's based on what we knew from our past. And so our parents carry down, and then we carry down to our kids, and then our kids carry down to their kids. And there were people who were physically, violently abused in these eras. And I think that's what our generation tried to address, but it overstepped a boundary where we almost took physical discipline entirely away, which I think is why we have so many unruly children now.
Yeah.
That's a lot of talking, man.
I know. And mental health, though, mental health is a serious thing. And
you know, he's a professional speaker, right?
Yeah, I know.
Toastmasters, toastmasters.org. Look it up. Join your local club. Shameless plug. But we've got mental health, and we're not mental health professionals. I think you guys talked about that on the last two times you brought it up.
I guess we're saying more advocates.
Right. And I respect that, because everyone is entitled to an opinion. But the truth is, even the professionals know only so much about what mental health really is, where it comes from, and how to treat it. And predominantly right now in the world, we see a lean on pharmaceuticals. And that's not to talk bad about big pharma, although I'm not an advocate of big pharma. I'm not a big advocate of big pharma just because of the fact that I don't think that leaning on a mind-altering, mood-changing substance to adapt with the way that I live my life is the correct way to live my life. And that's my personal philosophy about the way I live life. I don't want to have to use a drug to normalize how I feel and act. But mental health is a real thing. For a period of my life, I actually struggled with mental health. I was going through a very bad breakup. I had a son, unfortunately, outside of wedlock. Not that it was unfortunate to have a son, just that I didn't get the opportunity to marry the young woman. And then to actually be estranged from my son for a number of years. And that did a lot of damage.
I didn't know you were a dad.
My son turns 18 this year.
I thought I told you that. Ever told you he was a dad?
No.
And this is why they call it TNT, because minds have just been blown.
Yeah, I'm
Kale's mind.
shooketh.
I already knew.
Shooketh.
Right.
My mind was blown when you first told me.
Because most people don't see a 36, 37-year-old male with an 18-year-old child. That means that I was 18 when my son was born, which is true.
Okay.
And the drug abuse and use, coupled with the mental health of feeling like I was never good enough for anybody or anything, and then on top of that, the estrangement of my family, because let's be honest, you make the choice to use drugs and not get help and not actually want to change your life. Well, sorry, buddy. We're not going to support you in that path.
Are they supporting you now?
And the door closed. Yeah. My family, my brother's side of the family, I should say, is very strong supporters. I never really knew my dad because my mom raised me in South Dakota. My dad was from Texas. They had a divorce. Dad tried to reach out over the years, didn't work out. That's the short story. I have a great relationship with my dad now. Hopefully I can pass this episode on to him. Thank you, Daddy, for everything you do for me. And unfortunately, my mom passed on due to drug-related issues. She was a closet alcoholic. She ended up with a brain aneurysm. She tried to self-medicate, and she bled out. God have mercy on her soul. But looping back around, all of those things coupling created a bunch of pressure in my life, and I actually ended up institutionalized. And like, that's not the man I ever wanted to be, right? Like I told you guys, I'm the milkman. I went out for milk. I came back with milk.
The milkman, the man with the milk.
I went out for the milk. I came back with the milk.
Oh,
but the reality is sometimes you bring the milk back and the family's no longer there. And that's kind of the proverbial story of my life, and actually kind of the proverbial story of my dad's life. And it was hard on me, so I ended up...
And the proverbial story why he likes milk.
Well, there's also that. And I do like milk. But what I really wanted to be was, I wanted to be a leader. I wanted to be somebody that could speak out for those who didn't have a voice. I wanted to be the type of person that could stand up for people that were unnecessarily being bullied, right? Not like camaraderie bullying, not like you said, hazing.
Like,
right?
Like smart ass bullying, basically.
Like hard, like mean.
Like actually, like intent,
bullying.
like intent bullying.
Yeah. What people don't know about bullying when it relates to me is my first best friend, and I don't know if he'd call me that, but his name was Chris, and he was growing up faster than me. You guys remember when you were little boys and like we started doing young boy things? One of the first things I noticed was like I used to pee at the urinal with my pants around my ankles, and then my friend Chris, he had his pants pulled up around his, his hip, and he was just peeing from his, his fly. And I was super jealous because I didn't have an older brother and he did. So he was observing and I wasn't learning. And I took a hold of him and try to imagine a kid with cerebral palsy being physically violent. It's kind of a weird picture, but I like threw him up against the wall and I was like, hey man, let me get my quarterback. I don't even know what that means, man, whether that's demon talk or whatever it is. And
I'm sorry, I just like, give me my fucking lunch money, buddy.
You give me my quarter.
I need that jawbreaker. I'm from Eddie.
right? And so what ended up happening was that night he went over to another friend's house. He was riding his bike, and I don't think the laws, or at least back then, maybe our town was a little more lax, didn't have a lot of regulations on bike lights or any of that kind of stuff. Obviously, he would have had a fender reflector and a front reflector like you're supposed to, but the truck didn't see him come up off the side of the ditch and just clipped him, and I never got a chance to apologize. He died.
Ouch.
He was the first person our class ever lost, and I'll never forget it. And it's the reason why nowadays I have such a strict discipline on physical violence in my life, because when you lay your hands on a person, you're not promised to see that person again. You may never see the person that you're abusing again. And if you really loved that person and cared for the relationship you had with that person, it really makes you value the things that you do in your life, and it makes you think before you act.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what I will say also, speaking of, not being able to say something to somebody, right? I guess, is it wrong? So for me, I don't hate people. Like, I won't hold a grudge against somebody unless they really, really done me bad, right? So I don't know if that's a bad thing. It could be, and then there's a couple people in my life I don't regret saying stuff to, because the way they have treated it, I guess, handled the situation, and they could have went better. But you understand what I'm trying to get with?
My biggest thing is I don't like, if I'm on bad terms with someone, like say we ended up on bad terms, like maybe it's a girl I dated that we broke up, or if it's a friend that we just ended up on bad terms with. I got a few of them, At the end of the day, I'm not going to wish anything bad to happen to them. I don't want anything bad to happen to these people. I want nothing but the best for them, honestly. I want them to lead great lives and accomplish all their goals.
Yeah, and that's what I mean, too.
I just don't care to be a part of it anymore.
Right, and
I don't want to be associated with them anymore.
That's what I'm trying to get at. But there's only a couple people in my life that can go pretty much fuck themselves, Yeah. And I know that's pretty, I know somebody that he told me, if you tell me to go fuck myself, you're done, and I respect that, and him and I have a pretty good friendship, I guess. And I don't know how to, do you kind of understand what I'm trying to get at?
Yeah.
Okay.
I entirely get it. Sometimes we feel like lines were crossed and things were done that even over years of, or maybe months of consistent pointing out or talking, there was just no progress. And it's called creating a healthy boundary. And what it sounds like is you're trying to say, sometimes there are people that I have to close the door, because if I keep leaving the door open, they're going to keep coming in and they're going to keep polluting my life.
Exactly. Yes.
Right.
That's pretty well put,
That's exactly it. Like, those are the people that I'm like, go live your life. I hope you have a great life, accomplish everything you want to in life. But we're like, our whatever relationship we have is toxic.
But I think it's also important that I bring this caveat to the table. If you're harboring an unforgiveness, remember, unforgiveness is like this. Unforgiveness is like pouring poison into a glass and then drinking it yourself, expecting the other person to die.
And not to
Learn
interrupt
to forgive,
you.
not for
Right. And that's the thing is like,
for them, forgive for you.
Right. And that's the thing is like, I don't even think this is necessarily about forgiveness. Like, I can forgive these people and still not want to be friends or buddy with them. You forgive, like you said, for you, not for them.
I think a lot of people get it confused, the difference between two different terms, forgiveness and reconciliation. Forgiveness is when you're willing to admit that humans are stupid and humans do bad things. Mean, hateful, evil, bad things.
Yep.
And so because we're human, we have to just let those things go. But the difference between forgiveness and reconciliation is forgiveness is saying, I want for you the opportunity to do things in your life that are right. But reconciliation is that I want to be able to do that alongside you.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Fair point. Yeah. And sometimes reconciliation is just not, to me, it's not in the cards. That's my personal outlook.
No, most certainly. And I think that goes without saying. Like in Narcotics Anonymous, when we talk about looking at the 7th and the 8th step, and I won't get too far into recovery here, but when we identify a list of amends that needs to be made, and then we go out and start making those amends, the reality is you don't want to make amends to somebody who it's going to hurt them, or it's going to hurt you, or it's just going to continue to hash a different wound. Right. Sometimes you have to make a living amends, which means you need to change the person you're being and the things that you're doing, but don't worry about how those people react or feel or are involved, because it's not going to be any better for them. If I walk into my... Go ahead.
I was just saying, a lot of times too, like, it might not just, like, you have to be able to reflect on yourself and, like, negative things you might have done to damage whatever it was within that friendship or relationship or whatever. That's a very important part of it too.
Right. Like a good example for me, like you were saying with your ex, it would not be healthy. It would not be supportive, and it would not be an encouraging experience for me to go and attempt to make an amends for the things that happened between my ex and I.
Right.
She lives a different life. She's a different person. In all intents and purposes, I have to assume that she wants what is absolutely best for our son.
Right.
And just because we disagree about what that looks like in the final picture, that doesn't make her a bad person.
Right.
That doesn't make her choices wrong. And in the end of the day, becoming a different person means that I have to allow her to come to terms with who she is so that I can embrace the person that I am.
Exactly. And you have a kid with your ex, which makes it a little different. But if I was to, like, kind of put the same scenario in my life, it would be disrespectful towards my current relationship to try to go and make amends with an ex-girlfriend, because this doesn't make any sense.
Right. Because you don't have any business playing in old ponds, right?
What, you want to just go be friends with an ex? That's weird. And it's disrespectful towards the current person that is in your life.
But you know what? There's, to be example here, the only time I think that really works is the co-parenting, if it works. That's if.
Right. And that's become really popular. And I myself haven't seen that be overtly successful with the people in my life, but I know there are people out there doing it that did make that a successful thing. I saw my brother's dad and my mom, after they got divorced, work together very well. But that's hard to do, especially because so many people are fixated on themselves instead of on the other person or the main focus, which is supposed to be the children. And so everything gets estranged and people get selfish. And that's the way it starts, right?
So remind me, you and your brother, you have a different dad.
So I have one brother on my mother's side, Damien, and then I have two brothers on my dad's side, Brandon, and I have to remember my other brother's name.
I only know Damien.
Gavin, sorry.
So you and Damien have a different father.
Correct.
Okay.
My brother's dad pretty much raised me for a vast majority of my life, which I've reached out to him. We're on good standing now that I'm off drugs and I'm back to the person that he raised. But I've always looked up to the man. He's one of the many reasons that I like fitness, that I like being strong. He was big into biking. He used to bike from literally he'd bike for 30, 40, 50 miles plus, hundreds of miles sometimes. He would do actual biking events. So
cool.
Nice. I think I was gonna go off of that. And I also got to look at the religious side of it, things too. I guess I'm getting, like we talked about it, how we kind of reached out to that stuff a little bit more.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's definitely.
I kind of look at what would God think? You know, what would God want me to do?
The proverbial "What would Jesus do?" You remember those bracelets?
Yes. And speaking of bracelets, there's one I seen on TikTok I thought about buying. I haven't got a chance to, but it says Jesus first.
Hmm.
And Jesus is always first.
Yeah. Yeah, that was something I've kind of start dating back to like last fall. I've kind of started introducing that more into my life. And I went to these classes every Monday night. Monday night. And called Alpha. And now Mary and I go to it's a different class every Monday night. And it's just it's almost like it's kind of like a Bible study group, but we watch a show, and it's called The Chosen.
Oh yeah.
Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it. I want to watch.
It's actually pretty good, and it dramatizes the Bible essentially.
Now, question for you before you continue. Sorry.
No, by all means.
Shit, I just forgot it. Never mind.
It's all right. I'll follow up on The Chosen. By all means, The Chosen actually just got its own specific everything. It's completely separate from outside entities. So now you can actually look it up and you can watch all of their up-to-date content online. I think it's even thechosen.com maybe, but I could be wrong. I would just Google The Chosen. What it is, it's a video retelling of proverbially what the gospel would have looked like. It's obviously not going to be flawless, and it'll probably be dramatized.
Dramatized, yeah.
Okay, so I was going to ask
it's fairly entertaining actually too.
What religion do you go for? Do you go Lutheran, Catholic, Christian?
Well, they're both. It's all Christian.
There you go. See, Sam's touching on it.
Okay.
Once you open the topic of religion with me, what you'll find out is I spent a really long period of my time here on earth trying to find myself. And so I've dabbled in a lot of different ideas. But at the moment, and what I would believe would be for the rest of the time I'm on the earth, I am a Christian, and I faithfully practice a Christian faith. At a local Baptist faith, which actually we kind of denote the Baptist term. I go to a church with my wife called Calvary Community Church in Madison, Nebraska. It's actually the church right next to the courthouse. If you've ever been up to the courthouse to do your licensing, or maybe you got arrested because you're a bad guy.
Yeah, not this guy. Nope.
That is where I took my
driving test.
Driving test. Yeah.
I was gonna say
I was 16.
I was curious because I never asked you about it, and I mean we've never really had a conversation about it. But I would say the religion that I'm kind of been floating to, and because of the influences I've been having with a lot of people I know, would probably be the Christian. I think the Christian religion is probably the best out of all of them.
Yeah, and that's like Catholic and Lutheran are both based off Christianity. Correct.
Yes, those are different denominations.
Right.
And you're always going to find radical camps. So I will tell you from personal experience.
Same with, sorry to cut you off, same with Methodists too, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So you're going to find radical camps of people who believe that certain denominations are actually heretical. And so you're going to find Baptists and Lutherans who believe that Catholics are actually not Christians.
Right.
And if you dig too deep into the Catholic doctrine, you're going to find Catholics from the Orthodox side who actually believe that if you're not Catholic, you're not following true Christianity.
Right. It's it gets a little dicey when you go to the different denominations.
It starts to become political.
They deem they politicize it.
So it's like
at the end of the day,
Catholics.
Christianity is what matters.
But you know what? I honestly think what you brought up originally, Cale, is truthfully a better philosophy behind following Jesus Christ than what it is to read the Bible and fight over technicalities.
Right. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do as well.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to pick Catholic, Lutheran. Like, I want to introduce God into my life and pray and, Jesus and all of that. And I don't really care to pick a denomination.
Yeah.
That's just not, that doesn't appeal to me like as much as just like introducing religion into my life, just from the Christianity standpoint.
Yeah. So like for me, like what I meant by influential, it just seems like all the other ones I have seen just seem like we got to do it this way and do it now and blah 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 blah. Versus the ones that I've met, the people I've met, I've floated more to them because they are open arms, and they'll sit down and have a conversation with you and they'll talk about it, and they don't tell you like, oh, you need to do this and da 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 da, and
Well, religion.
No, the way you describe it is funny though.
The difference between religion and spirituality is the fact that religion is God's attempt to make himself right with God through a set of rules or through a specific way. But spirituality is just accepting that we are not God and seeking to follow the truth that is God.
Right.
And that would be the difference. Jesus didn't call leaders. He didn't set a standard of rules that we have to follow like a bunch of automatons who just do constantly the right thing, because God knows that we're not able to capacitate perfection because we're not eternal and we're not perfect. So we're not going to act that way. So he created in us a capacity to embrace what's wrong
and what's right.
And so when we look at religion, that's the main problem that we have in religion is we come down to all of these talking points about key issues that I do believe are important, and each person should come to an understanding of how they believe. But because of how we feel about any particular point and a disagreement, especially in today's society, we can't agree to disagree and focus on the main point, which is actually to conform our image to that of Jesus Christ. Instead, we get all caught up in the weeds over the fact that we're not living a certain way, or we're not acting a certain way, or we don't talk like a Christian, or we don't walk like a Christian, or we don't listen to Christian music. All of these caveats. And it's not our job to convict each other of what's wrong. Is it our job to hold each other accountable? Yeah, if Kale's over there, getting drunk every weekend and acting a fool, I'm going to tell him. I'm going to say, that's not a very godly image, brother. But am I going to sit there and tell him that he can't believe on Jesus because he chooses to drink? No. And
that right there, I respect the shit out of that. It's like, because, there's people that like, oh, he did this. That's a sin. He's done. You see what I'm going with, right?
Right. And depending on obviously which denomination you follow, I do want to play the devil's advocate here. And I know I'm a Christian playing devil's advocate. Everybody calm down. But what it comes down to in the long run is, why are there denominations? Because the majority of people actually haven't done enough research about what their church believes or what their denomination believes to actually understand that they don't belong in that church, because they don't believe what their church believes. Right. And so I do think that it's important to dig into the Bible. If you haven't read the Bible, if you haven't taken the time to study the Bible and understand it, there's all sorts of resources out there right now. Thanks to the internet, thanks to the campaigns of so many Christian churches and organizations, it has never been easier to learn about the truth that lies behind Christianity. But remember, this has to be your choice to move forward and find God on your terms, not somebody else's.
They have a podcast. It's called Bible in a Year by, I think it's Father Mike Schmitz. And I was listening to that for a while. Like every morning on the way to work, I'd listen to an episode. So that's another way, to get the Bible, to don't necessarily read it, but you listen to it. And sometimes that's just easier for people too.
Right. And if you're reading the Bible on your own and it's not making sense, it's not supposed to make sense originally. Until we come to find that Jesus Christ is the answer, that his sacrifice is what's necessary to reconcile us to God, the Holy Spirit's not going to live in us, and the Word of God isn't going to make sense to us. So make sure that if you're trying to find the truth and you're getting lost, reach out to people that have the truth. And don't just accept it because they say it's true, but consider what they tell you just so that you can find it for yourself. I have a number of friends who believe other things. I have friends that are Jewish in faith. I have friends that are Muslim in faith. I have friends that are agnostic. I have friends that, well, I have a friend who, well, he said he was atheist and now he's saying that he's some other kind of atheist view. But I have people in my life that aren't Christians because Jesus said that it's not the
way of Jesus is you have to be accepting of all people.
Right. Well, and not necessarily that you have to accept all of what other people do or believe, but that it's not the people who are well that need the medicine. It's the people that are sick. Or in other words, the people that you need in your life that need Jesus the most are the ones that don't know him. Right?
What I will say is I love everybody. As long as I can take a joke, we're good. Because you know how I can get.
And like I said before, we have to agree to disagree because there's always going to come a point where we're going to say or do something that isn't going to align with what other people believe. And if we're going to be honest about the way we live our lives, none of us are the perfect example of what we believe. Not me, not Sam, not Caleb.
Nope. Yeah, I thought I'd bring it up because I know how religious you are, so I was like, might as well just bring it up while you're here. So, I mean, it's always going to be other times anyway.
Right. Well, and I don't want to make your podcast about faith and religion. Is the reason why I live my life and do the things I do about that?
I just want to say, I mean, your first day here, first day on the job, buddy. You're doing fine. You know, people are going to get to know you in one episode, so that makes my life a little easier.
Just remember, you are the milkman.
I am the milkman. My milk is delicious.
They named me that just so that I could run errands. Get us the milkman.
Not true.
No, it's true.
No.
Definitely true. You're the errand boy.
Finally, I can be the Alfred to your Batman.
Yeah, you're Alfred. He's Robin.
Oh, whoa. Pause. Pause. No.
That's Dick Gracie. He's over there. Bruce, Dick, Alfred.
Who?
I think
Never heard of that character.
I think I'll be Fat Man because why? For one, I set this all up here, fuckers. Second of all,
ooh, the Bat Cave. That'd be a good name. Why not?
The Fat Cave.
No, the Bat Cave.
Well, you got to think about it.
We're talking about Batman.
I know, but you got to think about it though. If we get bigger, we can't use that because we'll get sued.
That's true. Never mind.
The Fat Cave.
Sam takes it back.
I do.
Strike the record.
What about the
regret?
The base or something.
TNT faithful, we're looking for a name for our man cave here. We haven't really settled on anything. Originally called the Mine Shaft.
Why don't you give us a few names? Dang it, just put them up in the chat. Let us know. We're really struggling big time here. We got Kale over here. He doesn't know what to call it. He was struggling early on, getting the mics to go. They weren't cooperating. I sound really loud right now, don't I, guys?
I think you're all right.
All right.
Listen, it's not our job. We don't have jobs, so please, if you can help us out.
No, it's very, very boring. Do original or get jobs. I know. I don't care. I'm gonna keep calling them out.
Do what you want, man.
What?
So,
we got Charlie here, Daniel's wife, sitting, trying to show me something. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah.
The Blast House, she says.
Oh, she messaged me. That's what it was.
Because it's always a blast on TNT, boys.
The Blast House or the Blast Base.
We're cooking. We're getting.
We're simmering. We're not cooking yet. We're still on the simmer.
We're at the part where
we're heating up.
I was gonna say we're at the part where you can actually finally add the oil to the
Well,
I was
yeah,
gonna
we're-
say,
we're-
somebody
we're-
get us some Crisco in here.
We're adding a little oil to the pan.
A little bit of the butter spray. The
Just a little butter spray. We're putting it on hot. We're putting it on hot. The blast
pad.
The blast pad. No?
That's what they launched the fireworks off of. Those pads that they shoot
Yeah,
professional
I know,
fireworks.
I
It's
know.
called a blast pad.
The launching pad.
nah,
Launch pad.
The launch pad.
Somebody else probably has that one, to be fair.
The bomb base.
I was
TNT.
thinking the bomb shelter earlier.
Bomb shelter. There it is.
Bomb shelter.
There it is. Bomb shelter.
Dropping shells.
Bomb shelter. Daniel, you done it again, you sweet son of a gun.
Wow, that was so loud the mics picked it up.
I'm so proud of you, Milkman.
Milkman coming in
You
clutch.
definitely milked that one. Straight from the udder.
The bomb shelter. I like it.
That was utterly punishment.
That was udderless.
But I think we've ran this podcast for quite a while, guys. What's our ticket at right now?
I'm used to having the timer on me.
Should I check?
We're at an hour 29.
Hour and a half. Yeah, see right here on the bottom right there.
It's a little long. I don't know. We should probably clip it and ship it.
Yeah. But hey, we're all good for the long podcast. We like long podcasts.
Yeah, we don't mind it.
I mean, I listen to all these podcasts regardless. I don't care. You guys could talk all night. I just feel like I'm here with you.
That music one you guys did when I wasn't there, that lasted over 2 hours, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember we used to record at like really late on a Saturday. Like
oh, yeah.
really late.
Really late.
Like
used
1
to.
a.m., 2 a.m.
You know that Jason Genova one we did?
That was at 3 a.m.
Yeah, you said that on the podcast too. It was so awesome to be able to have somebody of, well, what we would believe notoriety.
Do you know about Jason Genova?
I don't know personally, but based on the podcast, I could tell that he was big into what he did and he was serious.
Yeah.
You should dig into him a little bit more.
Shout out to Jason.
No, I didn't.
I'll be honest with everyone. I was taking roids. I was taking some gear.
Anyway, I suppose we've been going on for about an hour and a half. I think it's been a good episode.
Make sure you clip that. Sam said he was on gear.
I was quoting Jason.
Yeah.
Sure he was.
So, Sam, take us out.
TNT faithful, thanks for joining us for another amazing episode. This one was a lot of fun having Daniel in the house.
The Milkman.
Coming up with the name for the room, the bomb shelter. It was clutch. He brought us milk. He brought us cookies. He's basically Santa Claus at this point. And don't forget to check us out
All
on
social
all
media.
social media platforms. Make sure to hit that like button, comment, subscribe, do all the cool things, hit bell buttons, and we'll see you next time.
Shout out to Agent Light Media. Peace.